Hey guys, what's up? Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is a brand new iFAQ video, and pardon me for playing a little bit, but this is kind of a momentous day for me because I finally vanquished my laziness and got around to one of my guitar maintenance projects I've been meaning to work on. That being my beloved Ormsby SX GTR. So anyone that's visited me here at home has noticed that, hey, this thing has been sitting without a bridge pickup for a while. And it's because, well, there was a problem that happened with the original bridge pickup. For whatever reason, it just kind of stopped sounding awesome like it always used to. So I hit up Perry and the guys at Ormsby, and thank you, Mr. Beto, for facilitating this. And they ended up getting me a new Blizzard humbucker, which sounds tits, as you can hear. So I finally got around to installing it and giving the fretboard a conditioning, putting a new set of strings on it, setting it up. It is playing like butter and sounding really fucking awesome. So, job done. That's awesome. On to the first question. What song is he playing at the beginning? It's nice. Hey, thanks, man. So all of these songs that you hear when I play them at the beginning of the Unbiased Gear Review videos, those are just originals that I come up with super quick based on whatever I'm feeling, however I'm inspired from playing the piece of gear that I'm demoing. So sometimes it's a little thrashy, sometimes a little deathy, sometimes a little black metal-y, sometimes a little power metal-y, whatever. But basically just however I'm feeling playing that particular piece of gear, I come up with a little something. It takes me about maybe an hour to write out the basic song structure and kind of sort of get it down. And then it's go time, and I just kind of record it as I'm doing the original demonstration portion for the video, and there you go. There are originals that I write for these videos. So far you can only actually hear them at the beginning of these videos, but I need to get off my ass and I need to actually finish some of these song ideas and get them onto a goddamn EP. I do want to get more music out there for you guys. Great review. Love your amp shelf. Where did you get it? So honestly, it's just something where I just went on Amazon and I just searched shelves, and lo and behold, you know, a bunch of different options came up that all could have worked just as well. And I was about to pull the trigger on one when I thought, hey, let me check Facebook Marketplace, and lo and behold, there was someone that lived maybe kitty corner around the bend here, like literally within walking distance from the house, that was reselling a bunch of stuff. So I ended up getting my amp unit from just looking on Facebook Marketplace. Just search shelves, and a lot of times you'll just kind of happen upon something. They aren't usually super expensive. I've been finding them, you know, for under $100 all the time. There's nicer ones out there, sure, but I mean, this one's fine. It doesn't wobble or anything. It's nice and sturdy. So yeah, just search shelves. Hi Arnold, what are your thoughts on the Seymour Duncan Invader, and what picks do you normally use? Keep up the good work. So, my thoughts on the Invader are that it's not exactly my favorite pickup in the world. It's one of those things where, although I know it's been used on several iconic recordings, Master of Puppets for one, it's just something that I've never gelled with. Every single time I've ever played a Seymour Duncan Invader, it's just not sounded good under my hands. It sounds a little mushy to me. So maybe I just haven't played it in the right guitar, I don't know. As far as what picks I use, I have got a nice little pile of picks right here, and I just use a ton of different stuff all the time, and I kind of cycle through them. I'll explain why in a second. First off, I got some stuff from iFAQ, which is a pick company based out of Brazil. Really, really nice stuff made out of polycarbonate. I have a chicken picks here that I got from one of the guys at the NAMM show one time. And this thing is a little bit different from most of these picks. It's got a nice beveled edge and it's way thicker. Let's see. Recently I've been playing this Ultex one that String Source sent me. I've really enjoyed it. In addition to that, another kind of Ultex looking one, this Wind Spear that was made for Guitarmery, has actually been a pretty kick-ass little unit. And then I've got a boatload here of Jim Dunlop stuff. So I love the Dunlop picks. I love many of them. I love the normal Jazz 3. I love the new Ultex Jazz 3s. These are easily some of my favorites, if not my overall favorites. I've also got, let's see, the John Petrucci Jazz 3 that's there. That has actually been pretty cool. And then I've got a variety of different flow picks from Dunlop. So yeah, a lot of Dunlop stuff. Hey Dunlop, hit me up, please. But no, seriously, like I go between a bunch of different picks when I'm recording, because I don't even know if maybe it's just a mental thing where I think it's doing me some good, but I swear to God, when I'm going through a long day of tracking and working on a long and lengthy recording, I just feel like switching between different picks from time to time, like maybe do 2 or 3 takes with one and then 2 or 3 takes with another, keeps my ears fresh, keeps my wrist and my hand limber, and I fatigue less, both in terms of my playing hand and also in terms of my ears. I just feel like I hear a difference, it sounds fresh, I feel a difference, it feels fresh, and I don't know, I'm probably talking out my ass completely, but I swear to God, there's like at least some psychological thing happening, if not an actual physical thing. Hey Arnold, been subbed for a while now, good stuff. Question, since you have played so many guitars, I was wondering what you think are the best pickups for modern prog rock and metal. I'm getting ready to buy another guitar in a couple weeks, and I'm having a hard time trying to decide what to get. My price range is probably around $1,200 or $1,300. Thanks, bro. So probably the first thing that I can recommend to you is don't be looking at pickups when you haven't even gotten the guitar yet. Wait for the guitar to arrive, because you never know. That set of pickups that's in there might be in there for a reason. It might be just the perfect pickup set for that instrument. It might be something that totally brings out the tone that you hear in your head. Also, I don't really have a favorite pickup anymore. I finally have reached the point, I think, in maturity as far as my gear buying purchases, in that everything does the job a little bit differently in each different context. Nothing sounds the same from instrument to instrument, amp to amp, cable to cable even, you know, player to player. It's just, there's so much variation out there in terms of our products that we use, the amps. There's so many different amps, there's so many different pickups, there's so many different guitars, there's so many different players. Every single piece of the puzzle comes together to create a tone that is inherently you. And I think I've finally gotten to the point where I realize no one pickup is doing the job completely for me. It's dependent on the instrument, it's depending on what amp I'm running it through, it's depending on what overdrive I might be using in front of it, it's depending on how I'm fucking feeling that day. Might just be affecting the tone in some way, so I can't really say that this pickup or that pickup is the best. It's just gonna depend on what you think works. You're gonna have to do a lot of trial and error. It's gonna be long, it's gonna be expensive, but you're gonna enjoy the ride, because I haven't met anyone yet that hasn't. Hey Arnold, not sure if you have mentioned this before. What's your go-to writing guitar? You know, that's a damn good question. I actually don't know if I've mentioned it before or not, because, you know, I'm at a point with the iFAQs where some of them are starting to blur together and I don't remember everything that I've answered. I would probably say that absolutely everything I own is a good writing guitar, just depending on my mood that day. There's definitely some instruments that I pick up strictly for that purpose, like I do love my BC Rich Chuck Schuldiner Stealth. I write a lot of death metal stuff on that. But at the same time, that guitar is always perpetually in D standard. It's never going to deviate from that. That's my choice. but I write a ton of stuff on there, and then I kind of transfer it over to whatever instrument I feel like tracking with, whether it be like my BC Rich Warlock, my Schecter, any of my 8 strings. It just completely depends. But really anything that I have here, my Framuses, my Schecter, my Washburn V, my Solar, my other BC Rich, the Warlock, anything that I've got here is a solid writing instrument, and it brings out something in me whenever I pick up a certain instrument. Some stuff bodes a little bit better for thrash metal, some a little bit for death metal, some a little bit for just kind of whatever, like my Framus. My Framus is kind of a be-all, end-all for many different styles, oddly considering the body shape, being that it's that Framus television. But goddamn, it brings out such a great side of me in pretty much every style. So, I would say that's a fantastic writing instrument. It just completely depends, man. I don't really have a favorite, but I definitely would say that some are more conducive to certain things than others. What model is that LTD bass? I want one. So this LTD bass is the MD 500, which the MD stands for Marcelo Diaz. He was the very first bass player for Soulfly, and they graced him with his own signature model, a sort of, I guess you would say set neck, maybe set through. Looks like set neck though. Kind of double cut style with the 2 Duncan Design Music Man style humbuckers. It has a 35-inch scale, which is kind of hard to find on a 4-string. So it's definitely something that you could very, very happily tune down on, but so far I haven't yet. I love the growl that I'm getting from having this thing a little bit higher up, but it's just got such a beefy tone to it. So yeah, I love it. It's something that I was looking honestly at a ton of other basses at the time, and I almost pulled the trigger on something else, and then lo behold, this just kind of showed up on Reverb one day, and these never come up for sale. So I was like, ooh, that's fucking rad. I'm gonna take a chance, and I'm so glad I did, because this thing is basically new old stock, and it plays fucking awesome, just like how it sounds. Hey Arnold, do you use a lot of pedals? And if so, is there any effect or brand you prefer? Interested to listen to some new music from you. Hey man, I'm interested to get some new music out to you, and hopefully I can make that happen. I just need to get off my ass and do it. As far as pedals, I fucking hate pedals, to be honest with you. I can't stand them. I don't want, like, chorus effects and delays, phasers, reverb pedals, anything like that. It doesn't do a thing for me, and I've even asked of all the people, I asked probably the number one authority on pedals. I asked Andy Martin from Reverb, how do you get into it? And he's like, honestly man, you just go down a rabbit hole. There's a video that I shot. One of these days I just need to get around to editing it. I've still got to edit it and actually post it, but it was interesting. He actually goes in depth about how, as someone who is not at all into pedals, can sort of kind of start down the rabbit hole. But yeah, I don't really like them so much. I typically just own dirt boxes. On my board right now, I've got an ISP decimator, I've got a Korg pitch black tuning pedal, and then in between there I just put whatever dirt box I feel like putting. I also from time to time pull out my George Lynch Dragon 2 wah pedal from Morley, because I really like the vocal-like character that it's got. But some of my favorite dirt boxes I'll show you. First of all, best metal preamp pedal in existence, if you ask me. And I would love to be proven wrong on that, but so far I have not. This fucking KSR series pedal is so goddamn good. Easiest way to get Kyle's signature tone on a budget. Speaking of preamp pedals, I recently just picked this up from Aura Amps. This is their Diamond pedal. I used to have the Crunchmaster and I did a video on it, but I always said if I ever sold it, I'm just going to turn around and buy this, because this is more my speed. This is definitely Mesa themed and definitely more of something I would actually get into. Besides that, I of course have an affinity for Boss HM2s type stuff. I love my OG HM2 that I've got. I've also got a Brazilian made one. I've had a few other clones around here like the Throne Torture and some Eris stuff. Recently though, I just picked up the Clearton Grindstein. This thing might just be my favorite HM2 based pedal ever because it does the HM2 sound but so much more. I have never had more control over that tone than with this thing. It's just got massive tone for days on this and so easily like malleable and changeable. So there is a video coming on that very soon. I also really love this Highwind Direwolf Overdrive. This is easily my favorite boost to put in front of a high gain amp. It's kind of funny. Jordan sent me this and he says, hey dude, why don't you give it away on your channel and I'll just build you another one. And I gotta be honest, man, I'm not gonna give this away because it's too fucking awesome. So I'm just gonna hang on to this pedal for selfish reasons. Thank you so much. So here's an iFAQ question. In light of what resulted from this custom build, has it soured you on paying for a custom guitar with other builders? So this is in relation to the recent Unbiased Gear review that I did with the Roars Custom Raider. And short answer, no it has not. I have no problem with still purchasing other custom instruments from small shops, even one-man shops. It's one of those things where you have to do your research and you also have to take a lot of stuff into consideration. This was a situation, and I'm going to try to say this without turning this into a Preston hit piece, because Preston has been really cool about the whole thing. He's reached out, he's offered to do the necessary repairs on the instrument, and he's offered to do it with basically no charge to me, and that's fucking stand-up customer service. I don't give a shit what you say. You know, yeah, okay, the build itself may have been but he's wanting to address it. He's wanting to take care of me as his customer. That's fucking rad. I don't care. That needs to be said. But going forward, I think what I need to do is I need to take a lot better notes and take a lot better care when not just choosing who's going to build my instrument, but also choosing what specs I want. For sure, I'm never going to go fucking ridiculous again. I'm not going to go ridiculous for the sake of it anymore. So, like, pink and blue tiger stripe, that's cool, that's awesome. I know a lot of you guys thought it was hideous. You said so in the comment section. Fuck you, it's my guitar. I'm probably never going to go something stupid crazy for the sake of being stupid crazy again. I'm also going to be a lot more choosy about what specs here or there, and flat out I'm going to go with what I know. So as far as like finishes, for example, if I am comfortable with a poly satin finish on the back of the neck, that's what I'm getting. If I am not necessarily comfortable with having a 0 fret, I'm never getting a 0 fret again if I can help it. You know, if I'm not comfortable with the choice of pickups or electronics, I'm going to go something that I am more comfortable with, so that way I run a little bit less risk of it sucking because I made a poor decision as far as what components to use. So, I mean, I'm not turned off to the idea of buying a custom guitar. I am turned off to the idea of being a lot more cavalier about it, a lot more impulsive about it. I'm going to put way more effort into the research and the consideration going forward. What do you think of Archspire, Zenith Passage, and this new tech death bloom that is going on? So, kind of this new tech death bloom has really been kind of going on since Necrophagus put out Epitaph, and then all of a sudden you heard a shitload of bands kind of all come out around the same time that were extremely similar sounding. Tech death is one of those genres that to me got super oversaturated, super fast, and with a lot of similar sounding bands. So it's kind of rough on me in that I really loved the genre when it first kind of started off in this sort of style. Like, I know there was tech death before this, but tech death before this was way different. Tech death before this was along the lines of atheist, alright? Was along the lines of death, pestilence, not necrophagist or the faceless or obscura or any of that stuff. So now all of a sudden you've got all these bands coming out that are all kind of a similar ilk, and it's a little irritating because it's kind of tougher to pick out who the real shining stars are. That being said, I will say the Zenith Passage is definitely a shining fucking star. I love their take on this sound. I love how there's some unique elements to it, like how they sometimes play around the beat a little bit, kind of like the way Surreption does with a lot of their riffage. You hear a little bit of that in the Zenith Passage. Zenith Passage is also not afraid to slow it down from time to time, which it seems a lot of bands in this genre actually are. So kudos to them. I absolutely loved the last Zenith Passage album. Hey Rob, when are we getting a new album? Besides that, Archspire. Archspire is kind of funny for me because I've got a buddy who fucking hates Archspire for the exact reason that I fucking love Archspire, which is the fact that they are just sheer ridiculousness and speed in a nice extreme death metal package. It's fucking hilarious to listen to Archspire, and that's honestly the feeling that I get when I listen to Archspire. Yeah, okay, it's this brutal, angry death metal music, but I can't feel but fucking happy listening to Archspire because it's hilarious. It's so ridiculous. It's awesome. That's seriously the emotion that they put me in because they're so fucking just blisteringly fast and awesome musicianship. I love Archspire. But it's for that same reason that I know a lot of other people can't get into them because it's just kind of ridiculous speed for the sake of ridiculous speed. But it's fucking awesome if you ask me. And now it's time for this week's of the Week. And this week's Troll of the Week definitely gives me pause to think. I'm not crediting you, but the home-recorded mediocrity prevalent on YouTube and elsewhere is a big reason for the guitar falling from grace. People don't get it because you don't get it. It's more than headbanging. Here's the thing. Music is to the listener whatever that music is to the listener. To me, I dig metal, and I dig playing metal guitar. And that's what I want to play, that's what I want to hear. I know there's other shit out there, but that's really what gets me going. So, you know, for me, it is about headbanging. It is about creating some kick-ass fucking metal riffs. And here's the thing. I'm sure many of my bandmates would agree with me on this from the past. I suck as a bandmate, alright? I am not the easiest person to be in a band with, so more power to me for not being in a band anymore and having a home studio with which I can actually get my ideas out, with which I can actually play through my rig, record these tunes that I write, feel really, really happy about what I've done, and feel like I've not compromised a thing for anybody. So this is what I want to do. Now, as far as the guitar falling from grace, it's never really fallen from grace. And I hate to say it, man, but if you think the guitar has fallen from grace, it means you're focusing too much on the negativity. What guitar does is it affords those of us who want to buy the gear, who want to play, happiness. That's what it affords us. Like, don't get me wrong, I could sell all this shit and make a hell of a payment on this house. I could pay off my car. I could probably build a nice backyard out there. But this brings me such an intense amount of joy that I keep buying more gear. I keep playing this music. I keep enjoying myself. And I know that that's what a ton of other guys out there are doing this for as well. We want to feel that endorphin rush from playing guitar and having that riff come through. Whether it's a riff you wrote yourself, whether it's a riff that you're trying to learn and trying to play perfect for the first time. That endorphin rush of, oh my god, this fucking rules. That is why we play guitar. If it's fallen out of grace for you, man, I think you need to reassess. I think you need to figure out why you play guitar. And if it involves at all what anyone else is doing, then you are looking at it the wrong way. So once again, thank you so much for tuning in to this iFAQ video. I love doing these. As always, like this video, click that subscribe button. There's lots more metal guitar oriented content to come. Remember to keep dropping those questions in the comment section. And remember, take what you do seriously, but for Christ's sakes, don't take yourself seriously.